The New Galactic Era. Space Voyages. Science fiction novel by Mariia, Obydenna. Chapter 14. The Instructor.
Jupiter, the solar system. Roland sat in a large chair surrounded by children, just as Lewis, his former teacher, once introduced the universe to young scientists. Roland now taught in the laboratory. Children's laughter echoed around. Roland was a remarkably good teacher. In the bizarre figures formed by the stars, ancient man saw the people, animals, and birds. Man began to group these unknown to his mind figures into constellations, to give names to these constellations and to bright and wonderful stars. Roland slowly told the children the story of mankind. Since ancient times, the sky has attracted man with its beauty and mystery. But ancient man hardly had enough time to admire the stars. Everyday life was too strict. Roland loved history and devoted time to the past of the solar system and the great-grandfathers of Earth. Roland immersed himself in memories of ancient historical times. When a person had free time, he began not only to contemplate the beauty of the sky above him, but also to navigate by the stars, calculating their trajectories across the sky. Humans began to guess and predict fate by the stars. Naturally, a person had a desire to look up and see more closely what was happening there. Therefore, ancient people invented a telescope to learn about both the sky and Earth. Just as the lively sounds of the children's laughter faded, Roland's communicator buzzed, signaling the start of a new conversation. The phone rang. It was Tet. "Hello, Roland. How are you? I see you've been immersed in mentoring." "Yes, children are a pleasure. They are very curious. Even I wasn't as smart as them when I was a child." "I contacted you to tell about the new specimens we brought to the laboratory," reported Tet. "We encountered a form of intelligent life on a distant planet in the Pisces constellation. Having landed on the planet with an atmosphere similar to Earth's, we came across some amazing glass plants. It's rare to see intelligent vegetation made of chemical elements. Are you sure they have intelligence?" "Yes, they have intelligence. Our laboratory confirmed it. We have transported samples to the solar system. They are completely safe for humans." "Do they have a language?" "That's what they have. Their language is like birdsong, charming to the ear." On the unknown planet, the plants had lush foliage and colorful flowers, of rare beauty. The vast majority was of glass or some other chemical element unknown to Earthlings. From tall trees to delicate flowers, each species had its own distinct beauty and appeal. All the plants had vibrant colors, whether it was the bright reds and pinks of the flowers or the rich greens of the lush bushes. These plants added a splash of color and life to any alien environment. Suddenly, all this magical beauty began to move. Influenced by the red star, the flowers melted and formed lakes of boiling glass. The planet's temperature reached 1,300 degrees Celsius. "Where did you come across these creatures?"
Very little is known about the planet, but we know that it completes a full orbit around its parent star, a dim and cool red one, in 10 Earth years, and that's quite a journey. The very high surface temperature means that the iron on the planet is liquid on one side, while the other side is cold. Smart glass plants are species that have evolved over thousands of years. They have adapted to the climate and soil. These plants are known for their unique appearance and ability to thrive in harsh conditions, making them ideal for dry and hot climates, added Roland. As soon as the red star set, the temperature on the planet's surface dropped, and images of plants and flowers appeared on the planet again, as if growing from fiery lakes of molten glass and solidifying under the influence of low temperatures. After a few earthly weeks, glass vegetation appeared on the ground and flowers flourished. We saw the process of a flower blooming. This is a fascinating event, as it turns from a small glass-hot bud into a fully opened flower, revealing its beauty. And this cycle repeats itself constantly. The golden red caps of the trees instantly flared up, absorbing the remnants of greenery. The river surface acquired a rich blue hue, and dotted lines of clouds were apparent in the autumn sky. Thank you for telling me. Smart flowers that have intelligence are rare in our laboratory. Smart flowers that have intelligence, Tet continued, are an incredibly fascinating and fantastic picture that opens up endless possibilities for the perception of the plant world of other worlds. These flowers go beyond the usual understanding of plants, which people are used to seeing as soulless organisms, intended only for reproduction and decoration of the environment. The intelligence of flowers opens a new perspective on the perception of nature in other galaxies, enabling them to perceive their surroundings, analyze information, and make decisions. They can respond to environmental changes, identify their own needs, and interact with other organisms. One of the most interesting aspects of the flowers is their ability to learn. They can remember experience and use it to survive in difficult conditions. Thank you, but that information is not enough, Roland responded. The laboratory is conducting experiments. I hope more information about the planet will be available soon. Have you told the children about the cat yet? Tet suddenly asked. No, thanks for reminding me. I'll definitely tell now. Not about the cat, about the experiment with the cat. Roland remembered Lewis. It was he who many years ago had told him about this experiment, conducted before the robot age and used to explain the structure of the universe. After his conversation with Tet, Roland went into another room and returned with a white rabbit. There are no cats on Jupiter, and only rabbits live in laboratories. Instead of a cat, I will use a rabbit. Do you agree? Roland asked the children. The children froze, breath suspended in a moment of silent anticipation. Roland knew that they liked the experiments and his stories about the past. He began to tell about the experiment. Schrödinger's cat, or rather, the cat, was simply a teaching tool that a pre-robot age scientist used to illustrate how some people misinterpret quantum theory. Quantum theory is very strange. An object, like a particle or atom, that obeys quantum rules has no reality that can be determined until it is measured. Until then, properties like momentum are encoded in a mathematical object known as a wave function, essentially meaning that if you make a measurement, you get a range of possible outcomes. The inevitable question that arose as the theory developed was, what was this thing doing before that? Roland took a box of radioactive atoms, a bottle of poison, and a white rabbit instead of a cat. Quantum rules say that a radioactive atom can either decay or not decay at any given moment. It is not known when that moment will come, but when it decays, it breaks the bottle, releases the poison, and kills the rabbit. If the interpretation is correct, then before any measurement has taken place, the atom, and therefore the rabbit, is in a superposition of decayed and dead, and undecomposed and alive. The absurdity of talking about a rabbit being alive and dead at the same time was intended to show that something was missing in the interpretation of reality. Children, what's happening to the rabbit? Roland asked.
We don't know for sure, exclaimed Ron, a dark-haired boy. The rabbit is in a superposition of being both alive and dead at the same time. The children began to laugh. Roland laughed too. Opening the box, he took out a live rabbit with black eyes and a fluffy tail, which did not understand what had happened to it. The instructor explained to the children that, in ancient times, this experiment played a key role in understanding quantum theory, including the many worlds interpretation. It explained the possible outcomes of a quantum object in other parallel universes at the point of measurement. But a new time had come. In the age of biocrits, the interpretation of the universe and the measurement system changed. That's all for today. Our lesson is over. See you all tomorrow morning.
Roland said, and climbed to the small room at the very top of the skyscraper branch. He looked out the large window, made of thick, strong glass. The sun was in the sky of Jupiter. Its powerful rays fell vertically on the surface. Everything that had so joyfully gravitated towards the sun at dawn now sought to hide in the shadows. The sky had lost its bright blue and taken on a yellowish tint. The first light clouds appeared in the sky. They swim slowly, imperceptibly to the human eye. They swim lazily, Roland pronounced. And suddenly, a strong clap of thunder shook everything around, and lightning, blinding and beautiful, like a blade drawn from a scabbard, scattered the black clouds to pieces. Roland had the feeling that he was standing between heaven and earth, and flashes of lightning either illuminated the clouds from within, creating an absolutely fantastic lighting, or tore the black curtain of heaven, striking the ground. The thunderclaps absorbed all other sounds. Steel streams of rain poured onto the earth, and it did not have time to absorb this mass of falling water. The foamy streams rushed violently in one direction. Suddenly, the rain stopped its mournful song, and a gust of wind tore it to shreds, scattering the gray veil. Roland was swept away by a sudden flood of memories. Earth is trying to enslave human consciousness, and the sky seeks to free it from earthly vanity, directing it to the realization of the true meaning of human life, life in harmony with the entire universe. And how everything that happens on Earth is invisibly connected with the life of the starry sky. Nothing happens by chance in life. Everything happens naturally and is determined by wise cosmic laws. And only the inability to notice this pattern makes us complain about human fate. Everything in the solar system goes through its own unique stage of evolution, and the sky teaches us to correspond to it. Earth gives a visible next lesson, and the sky helps to fulfill it, suggesting the only correct decision to the sensitive heart, this mediator between heaven and earth. And the evening sky imperceptibly begins to acquire the colors of night. And if in the western part of the sky there is still a glimmer of the passing day, then in the eastern part the deeper blue has already been enriched by the silvery scattering of the first stars. Gradually this blue covers the entire sky, acquiring a bluish-black hue, and now the sun has appeared in the sky again. The planet has taken another step into the future, a future determined by the universe, by the entire code of cosmic laws. But at the same time, in this certainty, everything that exists in the solar system is given complete freedom of choice, namely, the choice of a path that will result in either evolution or destruction. And how important it is for every heart to realize the inevitability of this choice, because the fate of every person depends on its accuracy.
Roland had a deep passion for contemplating the universe's mysteries and illuminating the laws of physics for his students, often delving into the intricate architecture of the world.
The next day, Roland continued his lectures in the laboratory. In the new era, scientists have proven that time dilation is real, Roland told the children. When an object is moving faster relative to another object, their clocks don't match. Imagine that there is person A on Earth. Person B is traveling in a spaceship at the speed of light to the edge of the solar system and back. Person A is much older. His clock has witnessed many cycles. Person B is not nearly as old. His clock has slowed down considerably because of his speed. This is a physical phenomenon, time dilation. A clock is slowing down. Wave-based particles can explain the slowing down of time. Similar to the sound a person hears from an object passing by, the time effect compresses the waves at the leading edge in the direction of travel and elongates the waves at the trailing edge in the direction of movement. Teaching children physical laws about the universe was not easy, even for experienced instructors. Time is passing. It changes with motion. The evidence for the connection between time and wave frequency is based on the theory of relativity. If the wave frequency were to change today, a person would not know the difference. The perception of time would remain the same as it was many millennia ago. Clocks would still work and look normal to us. However, if we had two clocks measuring two different wave frequencies, we would notice the difference and could find the wave frequency as the mechanism of time. When children grow up in a science-friendly environment, they are encouraged to ask questions, think critically, experiment, explain their reasoning, read, write, and build models. As adults, they will be more capable and open to new technological innovations. Children become better problem solvers and increase their intelligence when they are taught the principles of logic, hypothesis testing, and other reasoning methods from an early age. Roland explains to children that in a new era, scientists have predicted a form of gravitational waves, a continuous hum created by pairs of supermassive black holes, each with the mass of millions to billions of suns, slowly spiraling toward each other. They emit lower-frequency gravitational waves. These stochastic or background gravitational waves rumble through the universe at the speed of light, gently beating against the surfaces of planets from all directions. Like a wave in a vast ocean, all the stars in our galaxy move in unison with ripples in space-time that take more than 10 years to complete one cycle, Roland said. Black holes have a certain temperature and emit radiation, another scientist from the laboratory joined the discussion. It has been found that the energy dissipation of a black hole is proportional to the area of its event horizon, the two-dimensional boundary that separates the black hole from the rest of the universe. This discovery suggests that information inside a black hole, and by extension, any region of space, can be encoded on the surface surrounding that region. The information field of a black hole is very powerful.
Roland, tell us about your friend Peter Smith, one of his students asked. Peter Smith? Roland repeated. You've told us a lot about Lewis, but you've rarely mentioned your friend. Please, tell us about him. Roland smiled. He had known Peter Smith all his life and was one of his best friends. Peter Smith had never participated in the scientific development of the laboratories and had never been to Jupiter. In recent years, he had not participated in anything except testing supernova starships. Before that, he had been a pilot of a cargo spacecraft. Unlike Lewis, who was too old to compete with the guys who conducted tests in the scientific laboratories on blindingly fast shuttles, Peter Smith was a middle-aged, experienced ace pilot. And what is Peter Smith doing now? I don't know for sure, Roland replied. I can say that he is working on a new type of supernova spaceship. The spacecraft is small. It resembles less a spaceship and more a broad-ended arrow. It is a kind of pyramid with 4 solid corners, tapering to fins as it approaches the base. The cockpit and several rooms are inside a cylinder that runs the entire length of the arrow. The fins are intended for potential energy collectors. The ship is lightweight and can maneuver with great precision in confined spaces. And that is all I know about my friend's work. And Tet? Unlike Peter Smith, Tet's professional journey began when, as a pupil of Lewis, he enthusiastically explored the possibilities of the universe from a rationalist perspective. Communicating with interstellar shuttle pilots on intergalactic flights helped him understand how people face different problems, and he learned what seemed obvious. Over time, he became one of the best pilots and commanders of the Alpha starship, the first of its kind supernova ship designs made of a unique metal, thorium, became the first interplanetary ships driving between a great number of planets and solar systems. The idea of traveling between solar systems was grandiose and complex, even for the creators of the supernova spacecraft. Their hull was made of a high-density, low-mass mixture of aluminum and thorium. It was as light as plastic, but stiffer and stronger than the same mass of steel, a massive supernova ship body. The materials could be manufactured and assembled in space. The time for discussions with the children in the laboratory was over. Given the children's age, they loved entertainment and had plenty of free time for games. Roland said goodbye to his pupils and went to his home. A report on the latest expedition to the planet of intelligent glass flowers awaited him, and he, holding his breath, wanted to examine in detail the new type of extraterrestrial life and the uniqueness of these new plant species. In the new era, the term living experience means something different than it did in the previous era.